prepared and making sure that people around Atlanta were safe and that things were okay. To that end, we have declared a state of emergency in the city of Atlanta to allow us to access resources in an expedited fashion. We've been working with the Georgia Department of Emergency Management, and we appreciate the support from the state. We also stood up the Joint Operations Center that we are in here. We stood this up several hours ago, shortly after the presentation that we made at the site. And this is to enhance our coordination amongst all of the city departments and agencies so that we can work together. Department of Watershed, the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department, the Atlanta Police Department, Public Works, Parks and Recreation, the Department of Enterprise Asset Management, the Mayor's Office of Constituent Services, and so many more. Our communications offices, E911, E31, and 311. Right now in the room adjacent to me, there are over 32 individuals representing 15 departments in this Joint Operations Center. Today, we have touched more than 30 senior communities, homeless shelters, hospitals, and other centers across the city with vulnerable populations to deliver fresh drinking water and flushing water, impacting about 10,500 people. APD has done approximately 30 welfare checks to senior living communities and buildings in addition to water drop-offs using our staff and our recruits. In the morning, we will begin making second passes at some of these same facilities where deliveries have been made to these senior facilities and make sure that they are regularly updated about where the fire stations are and where citizens can access water if necessary. We have about 100 pallets of water being delivered later this evening and tomorrow. We are in communication with our city's hospitals and our other emergency facilities to ensure that they are supported and operational. We've spoken directly with Grady and Emory. They both are accepting patients and fully operational for serving those patients, and they have enough water flow to do what they need to do to keep people safe and healthy. I want to thank several of our city's businesses for their provisions of water for our constituents and first responders. Walmart, Publix, Coca-Cola, and Home Depot, thank you for stepping up for our city. As I said earlier, we all take this matter very seriously, and we also take the seriousness of things that upset your daily life. We will continue to have regular updates on exactly what is happening, where it is happening, and how it impacts you. Remember, you can stay connected via social media. Our website has updates. We have robocalls and text messages. You can sign up for Notify ATL by texting 888-777 and then Notify ATL is who you send that to. Once again, I want to thank you all for being here and for working together as the city got through this day. Again, the hospitals that I mentioned are operational. Our airport, Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, the world's busiest airport, is fully functional at this time. They have fully restored water pressure throughout all of the concourses. Fulton County Jail and the Atlanta City Detention Center have enough pressure for their operations as well. And again, Constituent Services is contacting our senior high-rises, and they have been successful when they heard each call is saying that they are receiving ample water to do what's necessary at the senior high-rises. So with that being said, thank you for this time, and now I will turn it over to our Fire Chief, Chief Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I stand before you this evening to let you know that Atlanta Fire Rescue is operating at regular or 100% capacity. I'd like to thank our Georgia Mutual Aid partners for assisting us with providing water tankers to see us through this event. Atlanta Fire Rescue still stands prepared to provide water to the citizens of Atlanta, as well as we have porta potties available at 4 stations across the city. Station 1 on Elliott Street, Station 2 on Jonesboro Road, Station 10 on Boulevard, and last but not least, Station 16 on Joe Boone. And so please bear with us if you drop by those stations and nobody is there. Those stations are actively still running calls, but please feel free to drop back by. In addition to that, our code enforcement officers continue to stay in constant contact with the community or the business community downtown, ensuring that we are not missing any of the needs of the citizens of Atlanta. And we're passing those on as we regularly report back to the JOC, and we share it with the team of Atlanta's departments that are working so closely together. And with that, I will turn it over to our police chief, Chief Schirmer.
Thank you, Chief Smith. Mr. Mayor. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your public safety headquarters. As we stated earlier today, police operations continue within the city. We've not had any disruption from any of our precincts responding to 911 calls, patrolling our neighborhoods, and operating the 911 center. Even with facilities without water, our personnel continue to report to work. We brought in supplemental water to those locations, as well as backup restrooms for them to keep working. And I want to really thank the men and women out of this building and at our E911 center for the hours they put in over the last 24 hours, making sure we continue to serve Atlanta. And as we stand here, water is starting to return to this building, so we hope that those backup protocols will not be needed much longer. All of the resources of the Atlanta Police Department have been activated to support the mayor's mobilization. Recruits and officers of this department have been out in neighborhoods. The mayor mentioned over 30 senior citizen communities that we've been to today, making sure the efforts of the mayor's office of constituent services and the mayor's office of emergency preparedness, that those protocols are being delivered. And we will still be in that space tomorrow and as many days that are necessary to make sure that all the citizens of the city are being assisted as we move through this space. I want to continue to ask everyone to please use 311 if you are reporting any issues that you still see, and to leave only 911 for emergency services. But again, thank you to the men and women of the Atlanta Police Department and our E911 Center for the work you've been doing. And I think next is our Watershed Commissioner, Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Chief Shearbon, Chief Smith, Mayor Dickens. So I'd like to start off by how we arrived here, just at a high-level view. So yesterday, a little bit before noon, we began to make a decision following a break at the intersection of Joseph E. Boone and James B. Brawley. This situation was unique because we had three major lines that intersected at this particular location, and it required us to deactivate these lines to complete the repairs. It took quite a while for us to get the proper alignment. Again, this is old infrastructure. Won't go into too many details, but it was a very challenging site. I'm proud to say that today that site has been completely restored. All lines that were impacted by that service have now received water service. We've monitored the lines to make sure that there weren't any leaks. We're happy with the results, and so this site has been completely covered up, which has allowed us to place our attention completely on the West Peachtree and 11th Street site. So we have crews out. We actually have some of our colleagues from neighboring jurisdictions to help us out to identify ways to creatively isolate this particular incident. This situation is a little bit challenging because our goal was to always minimize the impact of the break. So currently we're trying to identify a strategy to isolate the area just around the break to prevent any unnecessary interruptions. I can tell you that we're making significant progress. We expect for us to be able to resolve this issue pretty soon. We're waiting for a particular part to arrive. We expect for that part to arrive here soon. Once that part arrives, we think that this will be a routine repair, and once the repair is completed, we'll be able to restore water services immediately. I would like to send a huge thanks to the women and men of the Department of Watershed Management, also many of our internal departments who reached out to make this mission successful. Should you have any questions about the system or the status of the system at this time, I'll be happy to take those questions.
Is the boil water advisory still under effect, or does that happen?
So yes, the advisory is still in effect. We will keep that advisory in effect until we complete the Midtown water main break repair.
Is that still in effect for the Boone location?
Yes, it is.
And you said you had to declare a state of emergency, Mayor, for resources. What resources should we describe that you're talking about that we need now?
Yes. So I can address that. So the part that I mentioned to you a little bit earlier, normally we have purchasing protocols that we would have to follow. Under these type of situations, we really need to be able to venture slightly outside of those protocols to be able to purchase whatever equipment that's needed, whether it's the resources of contractors or a particular part. So that was the reason that we made that decision.
Now, I know earlier at the original location where we were at, you mentioned that that was caused due to the aging infrastructure. Is the 11th Street location, is that a similar cause for that break as well?
Well, we can't properly say at this time because we have not been able to completely isolate the valves to shut that area off. That site, we still have positive water flow, which has not allowed us to really to do a complete inspection of that particular break.
Are we accurate to say there were multiple water line breaks from Friday until now, or just those two?
So just these two are the major line breaks. And again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we have over 3,000 linear miles of water sewer infrastructure. And so it's routine to have a break here or there. So I wouldn't characterize the past few days as a series of breaks.
So just two breaks that serve so many people that there are 223 neighborhoods.
So
I'm reading that right on the map. 223
Right.
neighborhoods under boil water?
So I haven't verified that number as 223 neighborhoods, but the map is an indication of the areas that were impacted.
But just two breaks.
Two major breaks, right. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Hey, y'all. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check. Okay.